Take one. Let's identify with the calabash. Take one. New live video. Right. Doing my electrical, I always once I've soldered the wires together, I wrap them with poly PTFT tape, poly Teflon tape, because wires get hot and they melt the insulation, and this will prevent the insulation from coming into contact with the bare wires and causing electrocutions, etc., etc. So like in the old days, I do first Teflon, and then I'm going to wrap it with masking tape, which is paper, and then I will put my plastic insulation tape over that, so that my join is 100% correct. I'll also suspend a piece of cord from here to here, so that if you pull it, it doesn't break if you pull it. Because that's what happens with cables. People pull cables, and then invariably they weaken the join, and that's when you pick up trouble with sparking, arcing, and eventually shaking in your boots because you've got a shock. And 220 volts, although it's not the worst thing that I've ever had, it still wakes you up. Okay, right, so there's I've already done the live wire. I'm going to just put just one ring of, just one wrap of paper around the PTFE. In the old days, they only used to insulate with wax paper. They didn't have the insulation tapes that we have nowadays. So this is now going to be my paper over my PTFE, and then my little trick, rolling up the tape into its own little roll, is now easy enough to twiddle around my join and give a neat join. And I mustn't forget the string or the cordage. Let me see if I can get a thinner string than this. Let me get maybe either a piece of leather or a piece of paracord. Un momento. And that's why the DNC hates him. They're like, he's not a corrupt Democrat. But too late. They lost the primary. That's a blowout, right? So it's not, the primary's not done yet, but that's a very comfortable lead. So now, why are the Republicans attacking him? I heard from Chuck Schumer and Ken Martin that Graham Plattner was unacceptable and he couldn't beat Susan. I don't have. Let's go to graphic 6. I don't have paracord or. Look at how that's turned out. It turns out now. Let me go cut some leather. Susan Collins, 41. Susan Collins, who corporate Democrats have been trying to beat for my entire lifetime. Oh, we're going to get her. We're going to get a moderate Democrat in there, and they're going to have the same opinions as Susan Collins, but be slightly left wing, okay? And we're going to get the Republicans in the suburbs of Maine, and we're going to win. They tried that approximately 1 million times. They lost every single time. We try a left-wing populist, boom, he's got a 7-point lead. And now you see the Republicans panicking. Oh, no, the Nazi tattoo. Oh, he's a misogynist. Oh, he's a communist. No, he's unelectable. They cry and cry. And I collect those tears in this cup, and then I drink them. Yummy for my tummy. Both of them come from the DNC and the RNC. So, guys, at the beginning of the story, I promised you a couple things you'd see that makes you realize how politics works. So, number one is the Uniparty. you see how both the Democratic and Republican leadership was opposed to anyone who would actually represent you guys. So if you live in Maine, understand Susan Collins doesn't bother the powerful at all. They love her. They know Susan Collins will do everything that the rich and powerful want. She has been a loyal servant of corporate
I'm a
power
little
and
pedantic when
foreign
it comes to
her entire
joining
career.
wires,
Okay?
because
But now
I've seen the
both
most
Republican and
horrific,
Democratic uniparties
I've
are
seen the most
again,
horrific
the Grand
accidents
Planner
where
is going to
where
represent
wires
actual
come
voters
loose
of
at the
Maine.
joins.
So understand who the real candidate
I've
is.
actually seen a whole house burned down
Now,
because
number
of it.
two is the media.
So
Isn't
I
that
make mine as
interesting that
strong as
whenever the
possible.
Democrats want to smear someone or the Republicans want to smear someone, it's national headline news. Grand Planner, give the tattoo, Messiah, you're complaining the veterans are more than troops. Giant headlines.
These guys are
now,
still talking shit about this war. They're gonna run out of things to talk about in the war.
Conspiracy theorists, radicals, they don't even believe the government. They question our beloved government. And on top of that, they question an even more beloved government of Israel. So, wait, is this a real media? Are these real journalists? Are they
way too long, but I'm just going to...
Or are they just a vehicle for the Uniparty to smear and character assassinate anyone who would actually represent
you see the joint? This unfortunately doesn't take an earth.
The political parties and the establishment
so what I will do is I will just terminate the earth,
in corporate media,
because it's a doubly insulated appliance.
all the crimes of the establishment Democrats
and
all of the
what I normally do is I leave it exposed bare, but that unsettles certain people, so I'm not going to do that.
Would not affect Hakeem Jeffries.
So I'll start the lever off
because they're both so moral.
On the one side.
It's a slight influence. But if you say it's a major influence, and by the way, Hakeem Jeffries is taking $5.5 million from AIPAC and the Israeli lobby, and I believe Ted Cruz is around $6.5 million. Okay? So both numbers are gigantic. And everyone knows that if somebody gives you $5 or $6 million, you're very, very likely to do what they ask. But
yeah, $5 or $6 million will do the trick.
The single dumbest people in the country.
It'll get you to sell your soul. That's what some of these politicians are doing.
Small influence. Me thinks the politician is so honest and honorable
Right.
that even $5 or $6 million.
I run next to the join. What I do is I give it just a bit of slight tension so that it in itself is tighter than the join.
That's how corporate politics and corporate media work together and have worked together your whole life.
This earth wire, I'm just going to snip it.
Don't listen to them. Vote for the populists, including Grand Planner in Maine.
And
okay. You know what? For fun, we'll throw in Grand
that'll work
Planner's
nicely there.
in the description
Roll
box
some
below,
more
so you
tape.
can go check out his website.
It's quite easy. You just take the roll.
Mainstream media and the Uniparty even more crazy.
And you get a little.
Love it. Okay. So guys,
to get it started is the bugger. You just get it to roll slightly, and then you start rolling it back on itself. You roll it back on itself like this.
Across the TYT network, both are members and non-members who are just
And
viewers.
it makes life
It's 3 simple questions.
so much easier, as you're going to see now.
TYT.com/u. Tell us a tiny bit about where you are on the political spectrum. That's all. Easy peasy. TYT.com/u.
I won't use too much.
And then,
This, of course, being Netto tape.
I'm going to go to graphic one here. I want you guys
Right,
to even
so I take my join.
all these primaries
I take the slack out of the leather or the cordage.
Also a rebellion candidate, but he already won his primary in North Carolina. That's why he's not on this list. But
And I securely tape it
who's in California 11. That's Pelosi's old seat. Please, please, please be a good progressive.
to the PVC encased
All the California ones are Audrey Dennings in
extension or wire cord that you're working on.
That's red, but
And then
such a giant wave coming, and she's such a terrific candidate. I think she's got.
And then look how easy it is to
so check out Audrey. She's also on June 2nd.
wrap the join with the little
We
roll.
also have Turk,
It
who's
just
a wonderful
goes
U.S.
round
Senate candidate. He could be an incredibly important
and
senator
round.
from Iowa.
Look how
He's
easy
also on
that
June
is.
2nd. And then Graf
Instead of
Tiger
having
is
this
on June 9th. Hearts and
gigantic
Rangers
roll that
4 is August 4th.
twists
And
and
Randy
turns
Price,
and
Iron Stash
just
is
buggers you
August
around.
11th. And we might
There's the
add more
other little
candidates as
piece
we
that
go,
was left
but
over.
those are terrific candidates.
I
So check them out.
will interlace that
And check out
somehow.
Rebellion Pack and see if we
Let's
can
see.
support our work there. Okay, so that's not really anything else
To
that's
come
related
back
to me.
on
I'm
this
one
one.
of the founders of Rebellion Pack, and Cara Eastman, our community director, also runs Rebellion Pack. Okay, so now a bunch of you guys wrote in with terrific ideas. I want to share that. So I want to go all the way down to graphic 3 here. So Jack wrote in with this. I'd like to see an interview with 3 people,
Then I'll
Francesca
continue.
Albanese from the UN, who's passionate about helping Gaza and Palestine.
Keep some tension on the tape so it goes nice and stretchy. Makes a nice snug. And I always leave a little tag of leather there just to show that it has been reinforced.
And then number 3, he says, Judge Napolitano, although being Fox host, is passionate about the Constitution and is horrified about us supporting legal wars. And
the solder joints should be fine on their own, but I just do it as you can never be too safe with electricity.
That's a terrific idea, and I think he's done really interesting work since he left Fox News. I mean, Fox News apparently got all these guys in prison.
To the other side.
And let's be honest, they voluntarily stayed there for a lot of money. But the minute they broke out of the prison, Tucker,
I hope you can see what I'm doing.
But now even Megyn Kelly, and others too. Tucker has a couple of other ex-Fox guys who are all like, yeah, they didn't let us say anything on air. Yeah, they protected Israel. It was absurd. Now here's the truth. So interesting to hear. You're totally right about Francesca Albanese. We should try to get them on the. And I'm going to say one last thing about the Code Pink people, who I've known a long time and are wonderful people. A lot of them are also Jewish American, and then they get called anti-Semites every once in a while when they go protest these wars.
And I have a nice strong join. I'll just trim off the excess of my leather.
Great cause, and their heart is golden, and I appreciate them so much. And sometimes those endings get attention in a way that's super positive. So support Code Pink if you can. And by the way, we've had them on before. Happy to do it again. All right, let's go to Johnny Raybo. He wrote in. You all inspired me to create a project that I wanted to do for years in response.
So I have that. I have
all the time in
perfect joint
Naples, Florida. It's called the Yellow
with the reinforcing in the middle. Can't pull out. And that's that. What must I do now? Extension is nice and long. This is the main cord for my laptop. It always comes in handy. And I took the 3-pin plug off and I put a 2-pin plug on, so it makes it easier to pack. Now I can basically plug this cord in anywhere I want in my situation. In the situation. And that being my first little tutorial or live bits for the evening, I'm going to go and have some din-dins and I will go live again. Thank you for your support. Thank you for coming. In about an hour or so, I'm going to go live again. And I'm going to have to push the midnight oil again tonight because I'm cleaning up.